Section 14. Protecting yourself before the lawsuit. Risk management and errors and omissions insurance. Protecting yourself before the lawsuit. Risk management and errors and omissions insurance. Ashley was cleaning out her desk one Friday afternoon when Michael walked by carrying a thick file box labeled Closed Claims. She looked up and laughed. "I don't think I've seen that box before." Michael smiled. "Most agents never do, and I'd like to keep it that way." Ashley looked at the label again. Closed Claims? Michael nodded. Every brokerage has stories. Some involve ADRE investigations. Some involve lawsuits. Some involve both. David walked into the office carrying a cup of coffee, and almost every one of those files starts with someone saying the same thing. Ashley smiled. "What do they say?" "I never thought this would happen to me." The room laughed, but Michael remained serious. "The truth is, most lawsuits aren't filed because someone woke up intending to violate the law. They're usually the result of a missed deadline, a misunderstood disclosure, a forgotten document, a poorly worded email, an assumption, or simply failing to communicate." Ashley nodded. "So mistakes happen." "They do," Michael replied, "and that's exactly why professional risk management exists." He explained that every successful brokerage spends enormous amounts of time trying to prevent problems before they ever become claims. Broker supervision, transaction reviews, continuing education, standardized forms, checklists, documentation, disclosure procedures, file audits, and office policies all exist for one purpose: to reduce risk before someone calls an attorney. E&O insurance, Michael explained, isn't your first line of defense, it's your last. Ashley looked surprised. "I always thought insurance was what protected us." "It helps," Michael replied. "But insurance never prevents a lawsuit. It simply helps respond after one has already been filed." David smiled. "I've been doing this long enough to know something. The agents with the fewest lawsuits aren't lucky. They simply have better habits." Michael nodded. "They return phone calls. They document conversations. They disclose material facts. They ask questions. They involve their broker early, and they never assume." Ashley wrote another note. "Good habits prevent expensive problems." Michael smiled. "That's probably the best risk management advice you'll ever receive." He explained that errors and omissions, E&O insurance, is professional liability insurance designed to help protect a brokerage and its licensees from certain claims alleging negligence, errors, omissions, or other wrongful acts committed while providing covered real estate services. However, E&O coverage is not required for every Arizona brokerage, and coverage varies significantly between insurance carriers and brokerage policies. Ashley looked surprised. "So not every brokerage carries E&O." "Correct," Michael replied. "And even when they do, not every policy covers the same things." He explained that every licensee should understand whether their brokerage carries E&O insurance, what activities are covered, what exclusions exist, who pays the deductible, and what the brokerage requires if a complaint or claim arises. David leaned forward. "I always ask new agents 5 questions." Ashley smiled. "What are they? Do you know who your insurance carrier is? Do you know what isn't covered? Do you know who you call if you're sued? Do you know how quickly you must report a claim? And most importantly, have you actually read your brokerage's policy?" Ashley laughed. "I don't think most agents have." Michael smiled. "Exactly. And that's why we're having this conversation." He explained that one of the biggest mistakes agents make is assuming that every real estate activity automatically falls within the protection of an E&O policy. "Let's say you've spent your career selling residential homes." Ashley nodded. "Now a client asks you to manage rental property, or negotiate the purchase of a commercial warehouse, or help with a business opportunity, or advise them about tax consequences." David interrupted. "Before you say yes, ask one question." Ashley smiled. "Is my insurance coming with me?" Michael laughed. He explained that professional liability policies often distinguish between different types of real estate activities. Coverage may differ depending upon the brokerage's policy, endorsements, exclusions, and the services actually being performed. Licensees should never assume that activities outside their normal practice area are automatically insured. Ashley asked another question. "What if I receive a letter from an attorney?" Michael didn't hesitate. "Call your broker. Immediately. Not tomorrow. Not after you've tried to fix it yourself. Immediately." He explained that most brokerages have written procedures requiring licensees to promptly report complaints, demand letters, subpoenas, lawsuits, regulatory inquiries, or any event that could reasonably become a claim. Waiting to report a problem may make defending the claim more difficult and could affect insurance reporting obligations depending upon the policy. David smiled. I've seen agents make one mistake over and over. Ashley looked curious. They think they can solve the problem themselves. Michael nodded. Unfortunately, the cover-up usually becomes more expensive than the mistake. Ashley thought about every section they had studied during the course: advertising, agency, disclosure, fair housing, commissioner's rules, assistance, broker supervision. She smiled. I'm starting to notice a pattern. Michael looked at her. What pattern? Everything we've studied is really about preventing problems before they happen. Michael smiled. You've just described professional risk management. The goal isn't to become great at defending lawsuits. The goal is to practice real estate so professionally that you rarely need to. David stood up and looked around the room. I've defended agents for decades, and here's what I've learned. The agents who sleep best at night aren't the ones with the biggest insurance policies. They're the ones with the best habits. Michael closed the claim file. Insurance is important, but professionalism is priceless. And every disclosure you make, every conversation you document, every deadline you meet, every question you ask your broker protects your license long before any insurance company ever becomes involved. Ashley smiled. So protecting my license starts every morning, not when the lawsuit arrives. Michael nodded. Exactly. And that's what separates experienced professionals from everyone else. Real-world Arizona example. An experienced Arizona licensee failed to document a verbal conversation regarding repairs following a home inspection. Months after closing, the buyer alleged the agent had promised certain repairs would be completed before possession. Because nothing had been documented in writing, the dispute became a lawsuit involving the buyer, seller, brokerage, and several other parties. Although the brokerage's professional liability insurance assisted with the legal defense, the case required years of litigation, extensive legal fees, and countless hours responding to attorneys and investigators. The claim ultimately reinforced one important lesson. Good documentation often prevents the lawsuit that insurance later has to defend. Broker tip. Professional liability insurance should never be viewed as permission to take risks. The best risk management strategy is still the simplest. Document everything, disclose material facts, communicate clearly, stay within your area of expertise. Ask your designated broker before problems become claims. Insurance is your financial safety net, not your business plan. Online discussion question. Why does Michael describe E&O insurance as the last line of defense instead of the first? Model answer. Insurance responds after a claim has already occurred. Strong documentation, communication, broker supervision, and compliance practices help prevent claims from happening in the first place. Question 2. Why is practicing only within your area of expertise an important risk management strategy? Model answer. Activities outside a licensee's normal practice area may involve additional legal risks and may not be covered under every E&O policy. Licensees should understand both their professional competence and their brokerage's insurance coverage before accepting unfamiliar assignments. Question 3. Looking back over the previous sections of this course, what habits do you believe provide the greatest protection against complaints, lawsuits, and disciplinary actions? Model answer. Consistent documentation, timely communication, ethical conduct, compliance with Arizona law, broker involvement, continuing education, and treating every transaction professionally all help reduce legal exposure.